ESPN's Adam Schefter has started listing some of the potential trade targets and trade pieces from multiple teams. Your Seattle Seahawks were included in them. I'm going to go through who are some players that are on the trading block for your Seahawks and who are some targets that the Seahawks could be looking at making a trade for later on down the road. Now let's get into today's video. I'm your host of Seahawks Today, Will Ortner, and I want to ask you before I get into any of these trade rumors, would you, as the GM of the Seattle Seahawks, make a trade before the trade deadline that's coming up very, very fast at the beginning of November? Or would you personally say, hey, you know what? I like the team as it is, and I don't want to make any changes. I think this Seahawks team is great to go. T for trade, P for pass. Let me know down below in the comments. So let's start with who Seattle is thinking about possibly moving on from. I went into this ESPN report and I said, there's for sure going to be one player on it, maybe two. And in a shocking development, or I guess not so shocking development, I was right. Because it's really Riq Woolen, right? Ian Rappaport had his report about 2-3 weeks ago saying, hey, the Seahawks, they're putting Riq Woolen on the trading block. They're ready to move on from him. They are looking for a nice return. He's on the last year of his contract, probably not going to re-sign him. And it sounds like from what ESPN's Adam Schefter just reported that is still the case. Now, when you go through Riq Woolen's stats through his career, I mean, shoot, you start at the very beginning, they're pretty good, right? Games, going through 17 games, looked pretty strong, did well. 33 tackles. Honestly, if it wasn't for Sauce Gardner, he's going to be the defensive rookie of the year. But as each year goes on, the stats get slightly worse. They get slightly worse. They get slightly worse. And then when you go into this year, obviously, he missed that Week 6 game, and he was only able to play a little bit in that Game 5. So these are his stats through the first 4 games. There wouldn't be much of an addition to it because, well, frankly, he was hurt. He missed a lot of games, right? So you're starting to see some time missed, and you're seeing those numbers continue to go down for Riq Woolen. That all being said, I would not trade him at all. I think the last 2 weeks without Riq Woolen, because you haven't had him for most of that time, tells you where he is at right now as a cornerback in the NFL and where your secondary is at, frankly. When you look at this Seahawks team, you are one injury away from having to play Nehemiah Pritchett again or signing Shaq Griffin to the active roster. And then, frankly, you are going to lose some of the players that you have in other positions, making other positions thinner right now. This secondary is as thin as it gets, and it's not just because of injuries. There is a reason why certain players are backups to starters. And I understand that Riq Woolen has his issues. It isn't lost on me. I understand. I have not forgotten Week 1 against the San Francisco 49ers. I know he blew 2 plays on that. One ended up being a big touchdown for you. But right now, with Josh Jobe kind of coming back down to earth, not playing like an all-pro corner anymore, with Devin Witherspoon being out, being hurt, Darian Kendrick's been pretty good, especially the first 2 games, but he's kind of taken a step back. Nehemiah Pritchett, I don't know that I trust him. I mean, shoot, he's on the active roster, but Shaq Griffin got pulled up from the practice squad, and he was the one who was starting against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know if Riq Woolen is a piece that you can trade away. I think it would be a mistake. If everybody stays 100% healthy and we're all fine and good, okay, well then, yeah, maybe trading Riq Woolen away is okay. Can you predict that the Seahawks are going to stay 100% healthy? I certainly can't. I think that this season has showed so far that you cannot trust that guys are going to be healthy. You need to have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, and a plan E. And frankly, I think the Seahawks are better in those plans B through E if you have Riq Woolen ready to go. If you have Riq Woolen in your squad, I mean, worst case scenario, he just adds depth. Now, if you told me, hey, let's trade Riq Woolen away for another corner, kind of like the move that the Browns and Jaguars did, well, there's a conversation to be had there. Is there a corner that's going to be better than Riq Woolen out there? I don't know. Is there a corner that can be more consistent? Maybe. I think that's potential. But the true leaps and bounds and ability that Riq Woolen has, I don't know if there's another player out there on the market. And I don't know, frankly, that you're going to get a good enough return. With only a couple of weeks coming left, I just don't know that trading Riq Woolen makes any sense. Unless, of course, the other team wants to overpay. Now, if the other team wants to give us a day 2 pick, wants to give us a second or a third rounder, okay, well, there's a conversation to be had. Maybe the team that wants to trade for Riq Woolen absolutely sucks. And so their 4th round pick is going to be, one of the first 2 or 3 in that draft. Okay, well, then maybe there's a conversation to be had. Maybe they want to throw in a player and a draft pick, right? That seems kind of, pie in the sky. But if another team wants to overpay, well, then, okay, then that makes sense. Maybe I'd be willing to trade Riq Woolen then. I don't know that you should trade Riq Woolen, but if the Seattle Seahawks do, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel because you do not want to miss any breaking news coverage the minute that it breaks, the minute that the Seahawks make a trade, the minute that there is big news for your Seattle Seahawks. I am going to make a video, and I'm going to get it out to you, the people, the minute that it breaks. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, turn those notifications on, and you won't miss any of that breaking news. Now, Schefter did have some trade targets as well that Seattle could be eyeing. Frankly, I'm looking right at that offensive line position room, and I'm kind of staying away from the cornerback room because, again, I think that Riq Woolen has shown with his injury and missing time that there is still a good spot for him, a spot to use him for. That doesn't mean that Seattle might not try and improve this offensive line. Right now, your center ranks in the bottom half of PFF grades. PFF isn't everything, but when you rank in the bottom half, you're probably playing in the bottom half of the league. When you look at your guard spots, Gray Zabel's been pretty darn good. Right side, Anthony Bradford, it's better than last year, but I wouldn't say that it's good. Again, he ranks in that bottom half. PFF isn't everything, but if you're in that bottom half of the rankings, that probably means that you're playing in that bottom half. I got 3 offensive line trade targets on the interior that we're going to look through. The first player is Wyatt Teller. Now, Wyatt Teller is a very good guard out in Cleveland. He's been playing well. He's not quite as good as his counterpart, who we'll talk about a little bit more later. Maybe that's why that second line there is a weird brown color as well. But what Wyatt Teller can do as a guard, what he would come into Seattle and do, is add quality depth to the interior and instantly become a starter. What have I been complaining about here on the channel for the last couple of weeks? You cannot run to the right side right now. Well, you go get Wyatt Teller, throw him on that right side. You have a player that not only is going to run block just as well as Anthony Bradford, he's going to have a much improved pass pro grade as well. Teller can get those reaches that you're looking at. He can also stand up well in the pass pro. Why is he a trade target? Why is he someone that the Browns might be willing to move on for, especially since he's playing in the upper half of guards right now in the NFL? Sorry, Joey O.D. The Browns are a dumpster fire. They are not very good right now, and it kind of seems like they're going to make a decision quickly on, do they build around Dylan Gabriel? Do they build around Shedeur Sanders? Yes, I'm saying that to get some SEO value. Or do they move on and try and draft another QB? They got to figure that out, and they're going to figure that out this year. You know who doesn't factor into that plan? It's Wyatt Teller. He's already on the back half of his career. He's right around that big old 3-0 mark when it comes to the age number. But more importantly, he is a very good player in the NFL right now. It takes time, a lot of time, to rebuild a franchise. The Browns are continuing to do it. So does Teller factor into that? No. You might as well go get Young on the offensive line. Where Teller would immediately make you better, his run blocking ability. Man, he is freaking lights out. He would help that right side get everything cooking, get everything rocking and rolling the correct way. Now, what would be important here with Wyatt Teller? You're going to have to re-sign him quickly because he is on the final year of his deal, I believe. And that would mean that if you trade for him and he moves on, well, you just gave up 2 assets for no real reason. So if you're going to make a move for him, you better sign him, and he better factor into your team, at least in the medium term. And right now, I would say that he does a pretty good job of that. He's in his 30s. Well, most of this offense is in their 30s, or they're a little bit younger, so he would continue to grow or help other players grow along with him. This all being said, I would not give up more than a 4th-round pick for Teller. One of the reasons for that is because, well, frankly, the Cleveland Browns aren't very good. He doesn't factor into their long-term plans, and this gives them the opportunity to get something in return for a player that's probably just going to walk at some point. But at the same time, I think it's a quality give up as far as a fourth rounder and get in return. Are you going to get a fourth rounder that's as good as Wyatt Teller? I don't know if that's going to be possible. Now, I've got a couple other trade targets that I want to talk about, but before I do, I got to tell you about this insane deal going on right now. Look at this Seattle Seahawks t-shirt. Emerald City Football. Man, is it sweet. Normally, t-shirt, $35. Right now, it's $13 if you go to this link, chatsports.com/Seahawks shirt. You can go pick that up. Look pretty sweet rocking your favorite team 12s. Remember, chatsports.com, Seahawks shirt. That's where you will find that deal for a very affordable t-shirt. Looking sweet, repping your Seattle Seahawks. Now, the next trade target that I want to talk about is Joel Bitonio. Hey, guess what? We're going back to Cleveland. First people to ever be excited to say, hey, we're going back to Cleveland. Other than Joey O.D., of course, a good friend of mine here at Chat Sports. And here's the deal with Bitonio. He's the other guard in Cleveland. Again, older guard. He's one of the best in the NFL right now. And as good as Wyatt Teller has been, and honestly, he's really good. Joel Bitonio is a top 10 guard in the NFL still. Still kicking, still dominating, playing at a Pro Bowl, all-pro type of level, opening up holes. He's great in the pass pro, great all around. He would be an immediate great addition to this team, but he would be short-term. Now, when you look at his PFF grades, of course, he is 5th in the NFL. Overall, he's top 10 in both run blocking and pass pro when it comes to his offensive line play. Again, PFF, not everything. Go and ask any coach that you want to, including head coach Mike McDonald over in Seattle. It's not the end-all, be-all, but it is still a very good measuring stick. Experts say that Bitonio is going to be worth a 3rd to a 5th round draft pick right now. That makes sense, man. He's a top 5, top 10 at worst guard in the NFL. He continues to play at a high elite level. He's a former Pro Bowler. He's a great veteran in the NFL. I don't want him. I want no part of Joel Bitonio. Here's why. He is old. He's old. I'm sorry. 30 is old when it comes to NFL football, and he's well past that. He's been a guy who's been in the NFL for quite some time. And there comes a point in time where are you willing to give up draft capital for a player that not only might he not be on your team next year, because, again, I believe he's only got 1 year under his contract, but more importantly, he might just be retired. He might retire from the NFL. He might be done playing football. Why would I give up a 5th round, let alone a 3rd round, for a guy that I cannot guarantee will be back here next year, the year after that, or the year after that? I frankly don't think it makes sense. And I would also make the comment that when it comes to the timeline that you have, I don't know that he fits on it, because I don't know that you're a guard away from being a Super Bowl team. The last person that we're going to talk about is over in Tennessee, and that's Kevin Zeitler. Now, again, another great guard in the NFL with a large body of work. He's been strong in the NFL. He's been playing good quality football, great in the pass pro, great in run blocking. He's a guy that would fit what Seattle wants to do. You want to be a team that's built on the run to open up the pass. That's awesome, man. He's been great. He would be great in Seattle this year. And how do I know that? Because he's been doing it for years. The problem is how many years that Zeitler's been doing it. I don't know if you know this. He started his career in 2012. I said 2012. He started in 2012. I was a freshman in high school. That's how long ago he started playing in the NFL. 2012, freshman in high school, me, Will Ortner, now bald and old. I do not believe that it makes sense for your timeline in Seattle to make a trade for him. I believe that the Seahawks team is just starting to hit their ascension. And so, my eyes, I say go and grab the late 20s player, not the late 30s player. He's another rental that I don't know how long he's going to last. He took a 1-year deal in Tennessee, and if you re-sign him for next year, it's only going to be a 1-year deal to stay in Seattle. he's not going to be around for very long. Are you one guard away from making it to a Super Bowl? I do not agree with that assessment. So to me, I would not make the trade. Maybe John Schneider thinks a little bit different. Here are your trade targets that we just went through, giving you a reminder. Teller, Bitonio, and Zeitler. In my eyes, if there's going to be someone that you do trade for, it would be Wyatt Teller. He's kind of on the ballpark range of, yeah, he fits with the timeline of the Seahawks. He's an immediate upgrade. The question is can you get him for the right price? The other two, honestly, I think that they would be 1 to 2 year rentals at maximum. Maybe Bitonio, maybe you get 3 out of him. But I think it's Teller or it's nobody for Seattle. You be the GM, though. I told you earlier before we started, maybe you wanted to wait around a little bit. You go, Will, I want to see what's possible, what could be out there. Would you make a trade before the deadline, help improve this Seahawks team, or you think they are improved enough? T for trade, P for pass. That's going to do it for today's video. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel whenever there's late breaking news or any breaking news for your Seattle Seahawks. We're going to have a video that you will not want to miss. Until next time, I'll see you later.